to share with you guys. I remember um, before this whole thing happened, I remember doing research on Moorpark about the corruption before everything escalated when they started harassing us with all this bullshit. I looked up in Google and I was searching for corruption in Moorpark. And the only thing that I could have found at the time was dating back in 1987. And this whole story is it's about uh political corruption in Moorpark. So after a 6-month investigation of alleged political corruption in Moorpark, the Ventura County District Attorney's Office announced Tuesday that no criminal charges would be filed against City Councilman Thomas C. Bud Ferguson or something like that, the main target of the inquiry. But Deputy District Attorney Thomas J. Hutchins, who headed the investigation, concluded in a report that Thomas repeatedly lied under oath about his dealings with former city councilman Danny Woolard, who alleged that Thomas conspired with him in bribery and cover-up schemes. Right. That's the corruption I found dating back 30 years ago. And recently today, God bless God, God bless America as well. Out of nowhere, I'm searching about corruption and I come into contact with one dating back in 2003 in Moorpark. And I'm going to read you guys that article and I'll be putting it up later on as I did with the last previous video you guys should check out. And I made a recent live on the 24th discussing the matter about my dad's court. I'll get to that as well. But right now, this is some great information you guys need to hear. Ventura County settles sex suit against deputy. Now this is where it gets fucking crazy. Sorry for that. Anyways, I'm gonna put that there. This is where it gets crazy. A former Moorpark woman who says she was forced to have sex with the sheriff deputy so he would protect her against drug and driving charges has settled a federal lawsuit against Ventura County for $100,000. Jamie Sharples, 22-year-old, and the county board of supervisor. Jamie Sharples, 22-year-old, and the county board of supervisors this week settled a June civil rights claim filed in the United States District Court in Los Angeles, basically probably the Ninth Circuit, alleging that then Deputy Jose corseted, I can't pronounce the word, but I'll be putting the document for you guys, corseted sex from the former exotic dancer several times last fall and forced her to serve as an informant in drug cases against her friends. The sheriff's department referred a potential criminal charge against that man Jose, the deputy that harassed her and basically tried to bribe her for sex, manipulated her. When the criminal charges were trying to go against that man to the district attorney's office, authorities said, but prosecutors denied to file charges. So the sheriff's department referred a potential criminal charge against him to the district attorney office, the DA office, everybody, where all the fraud is going on. But the prosecutors, the DA, declined to file charges. While Jamie maintains she was raped, and a statement released by Sheriff's Captain Jeff Matson said an investigation found that sex was consensual. Rape under color of authority was one potential criminal charge. The relationship was inappropriate, but was entered into consensual by both parties, Matson wrote. The district attorney declined to file any criminal charges because the case did not meet their hold for a criminal prosecution. Just because you wear a suit with a badge on it, you think you could just do whatever you want? You think you could just pick up a woman and harass her and touch her anyway? That's how fucked up the world is right now, where everybody has this like mindset where they're entitled, filled with arrogance. So, the sheriff department did conclude that not Thomas, what's his name? Jose, I'm sorry. This is another case. That's why I said Thomas. Jose, 34-year-old, a 6-year patrolman who reassigned in the midst of an internal investigation in April, had committed a level of misconduct that was inappropriate. Jose could not be reached for comment. Sharples, who lived with her father and young son in Moorpark until recently, was unable to comment because of a confidentiality agreement with the county. Wow. But her attorney, Joe Freeman, said in the lawsuit that the woman first had sex with the deputy in October 2002 after 4 months of harassment that allegedly began with when Jose arrested her on an outstanding warrant for driving without a license. Right? She decided there was no way, the suit said, for her to continue to operate her car and keep charges of drug use from another arrest from being filed. Even then, according to the suit, she protested the intercourse but did so quietly so she would not wake her son. The deputy forced himself on her. Anyway, the suit maintained. Through continued pressure and harassment, defendant Jose, using the threat of authority, finally succeeded in pressuring plaintiff into having sex with him at plaintiff's father's house. Basically, Jamie's house. Right? So, while her father was away on a trip, Freeman wrote in a court document, they had sex several times over a 2-month period after that, the suit said. Oxnard lawyer Alan Witzke, who represented the sheriff department in the case, said Jose never raped Sharples, but was it coerced? Probably. Wisowski said it's not something she wanted to do. The lawsuit contended that Jamie was stalked by the deputy, who would allegedly call her in her car if she was not at home and press her to see him again. She felt she was being forced into sexual servitude, which she found extremely distasteful and unwelcome. The suit stated, the first incidents of sex, which Jose allegedly insists be without a condom, led to Jamie pregnancy in December and an abortion paid partly by so he paid half of her abortion. That's crazy shit. Wow. The following month, the lawsuit said, at the same time, Sharpers learned that prosecutors had charged her with being under the influence of drugs despite Jose's alleged assurance that he would keep the case from being filed. So he's basically saying that if she were to do it again with him, that he would stop all these charges from being filed against her. She became very depressed and attempted suicide and is currently under medical care, Freeman wrote in a court document filed in September. Wisowski and Freeman said the $100,000 settlement was fair considering the complicated facts of the case and the precedent set in 1991 by the state Supreme Court. It is held in the Los Angeles case that employers are responsible if police officers have sex with a citizen they encounter on duty while using their color of authority. 49 out of 50 times a verdict would have been rendered against us in this case, Wisowski said. And if you look at lawyers, fees and the potential for a runaway verdict, it seems very prudent to settle at this price, he said. So I'll give you guys that whole freaking article, and you guys can check it out, how disgustingly crazy it is. I found another article that I'll be putting up here, and the title is Cops Hiding Bad Apples. This is why people don't trust the police, hiding abused records. Ventura County Star attorneys argue over the scope of police record law. And someone had commented below saying, this has been going on forever. Ventura is just as corrupt as the rest. Even the good ones let corruption breed and turn a blind eye. That's why with the situation me and my family are going through, nobody is reporting it as it's stated to be. When you work as a public official, everything is court mandated. They don't do that there. They cover each other's asses because Moorpark, Ventura County is one small place. It's a small town where all officials know each other. And they talk. They could be watching my live as I speak right now. Anyways. And there was another one right here where this man said, when I begin to write about Ventura County having the highest homeless death rate in the nation, Ventura County commenced legislation to make secret the causes of death of homeless people. And he even sent a link that I'll be providing here later when I fix this. I had another link as well. Give me one moment, everybody. I'm gonna find it. And this one's crazy. This man goes into the depths of exactly what he's speaking about. It's just insane. It just gets crazier and crazier. Let me just find it. This might be it. Okay. Yeah. Anonymous. The person's name is anonymous because he doesn't want nobody to know who he is, but he fights. So the title is Anonymous Fights for Women's Rights and Against Corruption in Ventura County. And I'm going to let you guys know how long ago this was dated. This one was dated 4 years ago. Corruption is very active here in Ventura County. It's crazy. When I looked it up before on Google, it said 30 years ago. And you can't find any record on Google stating the 2003 incident where that man, Jose, manipulated a woman into having sex with him so he could drop all filed charges of drug charges and driving charges. All right. So that's what I'm stating. Like, that one happened in 2003. This one I'm talking about happened 4 years ago. So Anonymous, he fights for this woman's rights. And he states down here, there's a whole comment he puts here. If I could find it. Okay. Hold on. Give me 1 second, everybody. Okay, I think I found it. Yep, I found it. Greetings, world. We are Anonymous. This is an update on our previous report exposing corruption in Ventura County court system. Our prior report included incidents of sexual misconduct. What did I tell you guys? On the 2003 case, right? The little settlement, that lawsuit. So he's exposing prior reports of sexual misconduct, racism, what me and my family are dealing with, retaliation, what me and my family are dealing with, and bribery, what goes on in that whole fucking little town. Corruption, they launder money with each other. And this whole article talks about all of that shit. I'm giving you guys the fucking formula right now of corruption and how they move their patterns. It's all about patterns and their behavior. And when you listen to other people's story and then you listen to our story, you see everything that we're documenting. It all adds up. Okay. Retaliation, bribery, and perjury, meaning filing false declarations or lying under oath, committed by our elected court officials in Ventura County, California. As Anonymous exposes more misconduct by our elected officials, the public increasingly reaches out to Anonymous with their own stories of corruption and misconduct. Presiding Judge Patricia Murphy related against a petitioner seeking a domestic violence restraining order for reporting misconduct by Judge Walsh. I know that name sounds familiar, everybody, Judge Walsh. And I'm gonna take you guys back to the previous video I recently uploaded. Judge Walsh is the same man that let that woman get away with stabbing that man 108 times. She didn't spend a day in jail. And that Judge Walsh, gave her a deal to take 100 hours of community service and then only 2 years of probation after she's done with the 100 hours of community service. And that's it. She's done. She went back to her state. Okay, now that we know Judge Walsh, who was previously censored by the Commission on the Judicial Performance for violating campaign finance laws, Judge Walsh solicited, I can't pronounce the word. I'll be putting this up for you guys though. And accepted post-election campaign contributions from attorneys, meaning he was being bribed. Judge Walsh was being bribed by DAs, CDAs, public defenders, all attorneys in that fucking Ventura County that were in fraud and that were into laundering money. Now that we understand that. So he was contributions, campaign, post-election contributions from attorneys in a defunct political campaign, which in itself is an illegal act, but then additionally, he failed to disclose conflict of interest during court actions, that he had accepted these contributions. This misconduct gave the appearance that Judge Walsh was taking bribes from attorneys in exchange for his court influence. And when they talk about court influence, the way that they fucking rule shit in their own room, like if they're God. So if whatever money you have, you're basically God in those fucking courtrooms because they're allowing it. So, as I'm stating, it is an illegal act, but then additionally he failed to disclose the conflict of interest during court actions that he had accepted these contributions. Judge Walsh was taking bribes from attorneys in exchange for his court influence. So in 2019, Judge Walsh showed bias in favor of police unions protecting officers from disclosure of their misconduct records to the public. Can you believe that? Judge Walsh issued a court order blocking any pre-2019 records from being released in opposition to newly passed California law SB 1421. So he didn't want the pre-2019 records included into the SB 1421, which is modified the penal code to allow public inspection of police records. The camera almost fell. Police records. This decision was clearly wrong and intended to shield officers from misconduct allegations in opposition to the intent of the state legislator. This decision was also intended to shield the court from retrying pre-2019 cases tainted by police misconduct, so they won't be held accountable for the previous misconduct and fucked up shit they've done to civilians and citizens of America. This is the most deepest illegal shit that I've ever came across and read. Okay? So, they are shielded by this shit. This decision was also intended to shield the court from retrying the pre-2019 cases tainted by police misconduct, such as when an officer is found to be lying under oath. Can you believe that? Anonymous finds that this is unacceptable. Our source reported Judge Walsh for sleeping during trial. The petitioner noted in her complaint that Judge Walsh had to adjust his dentures, his literal teeth, I guess, after they came out of his mouth while sleeping, literally in a court session, a courtroom. She described that George Walsh had his head bowed forward, chin to chest as he slept, and responding to the complaint, Judge Murphy gave false testimony under oath, lying to cover for Judge Walsh to claim he wasn't sleeping to defeat the complaint despite the petitioner listing multiple witnesses. None of the petitioner's witnesses were contacted to corroborate her claims, which shows clear bias by investigating Judge Murphy intended to protect a fellow judge. Judge Walsh is well past retirement age, and the accusation that he fell asleep during trial is very creditable. Subsequent to the complaint filed against Judge Walsh, Judge Patricia Murphy retaliated by forwarding the complaint against Judge Walsh to the petitioner's opposing counsel, like the DA, in an unrelated civil case. This act was deemed retaliatory by the Commission on Judicial Performance and caused retribution by other judges and court clerk in unrelated matters. It also triggered further legal abuse and harassment by the petitioner's abuser. So this whole case about this petitioner is about a woman fighting domestic violence against the abuser that she's taken to court. They're literally turning one cheek away from her when it's clear that she had her life on the line. Like, she could have been killed by this man, and I'm gonna get to that. So back to what I was saying. It also triggered further legal abuse and harassment by the petitioner's abuser. The public have a right to file a complaint with the presiding judge without fear of retaliation for doing so. Anybody could file a report, a complaint about some type of misconduct without feeling a way of fear, without not having to worry about somebody retaliating against them. It shouldn't have to be that way. We shouldn't have to live in fear as civilians, making reports about misconduct, about our rights being violated by those officials that are supposed to serve and protect us as American citizens. For doing so. So the presiding judge without fear of retaliation for doing so. Judge Murphy's retaliation prompted retribution for tactical reasons by the opposing side, meant to bias the court process. The commission confirmed that the forwarding of this complaint was retaliatory. The petitioner is a single mother fighting for her life against a domestic violence abuser. Her abuser committed physical abuse and threatened to kill the petitioner in front of her children, saying that he could murder her at any time without anyone knowing about it. He did this while brandishing a weapon in her direction. That's what you could be charged for: assault and attempted murder. That's what? Those are the charges to put that man away, yet they didn't do it. I don't know much about this case after I'm reading this, but this was the last thing I ever heard 4 years ago by anonymous. And it has to be anonymous to hacker group. That's why there's so much well-detailed information in here. So, gun obsession are common among domestic violent abusers who value control over their victims and even over human life. The abuser often has dozens of firearms and multiple firearm safes. Anonymous believes that women's rights are integral to a fair, just, and equal society. Women often face discrimination in our courts, who unfairly mislabel survivors as shrill or crazy so that their stories are not believed. Courts and abusers use the myth of disgruntled litigant to silence victims and justify unfair decisions. Victims often face sanctions and penalties in court, many multiples of what abusers face just for the insolence of complaining about the abuse. Women have a right to be believed. The petitioner faced multiple instances of retaliation after filing this complaint, especially by Judge Walsh, who repeatedly and unfairly fined the petitioner tens of thousands of dollars in subsequent domestic violence hearings. In one case, Judge Walsh showed embroilment by sanctioning the petitioner's $12,000 and commenting, "Let's see what she does now." When confronted about this obvious retaliatory statement, Judge Walsh replied, "I am not a pig for truffles." That's the most rudest shit you could tell the plaintiff dealing with domestic violence abused by her abuser. So he says, "I'm not a pig out for truffles," meaning he's saying he's a pig, but he's not the pig to be out for truffles, for rotten shit. Basically, a metaphor, basically, but a rude one. Okay? The embroilment is serious misconduct and is against the canons of conduct that all judges swear to obey. Anonymous believes that Judge Walsh must be held to account for this obvious breach of the canons of judicial conduct. Corruption in Ventura courts extend even to its court clerk, which is so true. Mind you, this was 4 years ago. And recently on the channel about us picking up the court file, the APP 151 from the court clerk's office around March 24th, when we served them with the notice of removal and served them with the habeas. When we showed them that, they fucking act estranged. So when we went to the court clerk's office asking for the APP 151 in the records room, the man couldn't find it underneath my mom's name nor my dad's name. So we go into the other clerk office room where they have documentation, and we speak to a woman that previous spoke with my mom and dad. Her name is Adriana, which she's a clerk office clerk, you know. She told them about the APP 151. She was there when my parents filed the APP 151. So when we're looking for her, asking for her, she was stalling on her computer and having her colleagues lie. Well, I wouldn't say she was having her colleagues lie for her, but the colleagues that are involved and know the fucking situation of this case were stating that she's on the phone when she's not on the phone. She's on the computer. We could see her. So we talked to somebody else. We asked them about the APP 151 that we want a copy. And then they went to go check back over there and said that we don't see it under that. I don't think you filed it. So my mom quoted, yes, I did. I did file it, and it's on YouTube. And do I have to show you the video on YouTube for you to show me the fucking paperwork, you know, in her own statement? She said it's something like that. I'll bring up the video if I could find it. I'm not sure. But she ends up going back there, talking with a lady. After my mom gave that statement, she goes back there and talks with a lady, a big lady. I could describe her. She had gray hair, short hair to her shoulders right here. Looked a bit Asian, like if she's mixed with Caucasian and Asian. And she was stating what seems to be the problem. My mom states it again. This is what they do. They give out different people out, so you could keep repeating yourself like a fucking broken record, so they could try to manipulate you and do fraud on you. So my mom was like, I filed an APP 151 on August 6th, and it's recorded. I have it on the YouTube channel, and I'm here to get a copy of it, and I'm willing to pay for it. The woman says, okay, I'll go back there and check if it's there. So when she comes back, it's a new lady, and she states that, it was in a different file. Why is the APP 151 in a different file when it should be underneath my mother or my father's files? And I'm going to tell you something that most people don't know. Government official offices, computers, when files are actually there on the computer and you try to delete it working as a government official, FBI has access to those deleted files within that court state. That's why they don't delete stuff completely. They only delete it if you don't have it in paperwork or digital. Then that's when they completely destroy and tamper evidence. But the fact that I have evidence, what they do is they fucking grab the files and hide them. I don't know exactly how they do it, but they hide those fucking files within the courthouse. Like if it's a game of hide and seek. So corruption in Ventura's courts extended even to the court clerk. On January 26th of 2021, the United States Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the court clerk Michael Planet had been wrongfully withholding timely access by the media to court files. Mr. Planet had fought the lawsuit by Courthouse News Service for nearly a decade instead of correcting what should have been a routine procedural matter, bluntly opposing the applicant court's mandate and attempting to relitigate issues that the Ninth Circuit had already decided. It is our opinion that the Ventura court clerk did this in order to discriminate between the parties he provides timely access to court files. So the Ventura court clerk did this in order to discriminate between the parties that are in court hearings. People like me and my family that are in court hearings, they are told to shuffle or fuck around with files in the court clerk. So it provides timely access. So in order to discriminate between the parties, he provides timely access to court files, favoring major news outlets over less known and less controllable outlets such as Courthouse News Service. Court clerk Mr. Planet retaliated against the petitioner. So Mr. Planet, Michael Planet, is a court clerk who retaliated against the petitioner by interfering with subsequent requests for a domestic violence order to show cause by wrongful filing the request as an exhibit in an unrelated civil case instead of as a new cause of action. Clerk Mr. Planet's malfeasance prevented the petitioner from enforcing her restraining order and exposed her to possible death or serious injury by her perpetrator. So he was basically refusing her to file shit against that abuser, where it could have led to her death and possibly her being badly fucking injured. You see how disgusting this county is now, people? It's sick. It's really sick because Los Angeles County would never fucking do some shit like this. Yes, they may have fucking corruption. Yes, I don't know much about that because I haven't experienced that. But this is by far the most disgusting shit I've ever seen. And all my life, I grew up in Los Angeles County. I never seen some shit like this. Anonymous Operation Ventura Fights Against Corruption in Our Local Courts by bad police officers and by compromised elected officials in our community. We learn by doing research to seek out the oppressor and fight against them in only the way the individual itself can understand. Knowledge. You just gotta keep learning. We fight for the truth and to advance society's collective consciousness of understanding. Your contributions are greatly appreciated. We are anonymous, we are one, and we are many. The public have a right to know the truth. Expect us to know it. Expect all of us to know the truth. Because Steve Donlon, all you people that been recently doing all this bullshit fraud, just know I'ma dig some dirt up about you. I'ma dig all this fucking dirt up about you, and I'll expose all of you. Like I stated before, this is another warning. I have a live previously about July 24th, how the doctor was present at the Ventura County courthouse, but he did not, what's that word? He did not present himself in my dad's court hearing on July 24th, 2025 at 9 a.m. So when we call his secretary or somebody that works for him in the office, he stated that he's in the courthouse. So we told him, why aren't you in the courthouse? And we called him after we talked with my father. My father stated that he went to court on the 24th. Joel Steinfeld, a previous CDA, he's literally the devil. He hides in every courtroom. He's not even assigned to my father, and he's there just watching as they proceed in fraud. He was there. Jeff Chambliss wasn't there. The psychiatrist wasn't there. And guess what else wasn't there? The supposed declaration that was filed on July 2nd.
So they tried to lock me up here and try to discredit me.
Yeah.
For no reason. My time is up here. They can't hold me any further. July is the last month.
Yeah.
That's why the schedule, he has to turn that report by July 31st.
So this is what I think he did, Dad.
They tried to start the shit and say I'm incompetent.
Yeah.
After I was pauper. I put him back. I'm the one who waived my freaking time, my I'm the one who waived my right to get a public defender, not the CDA. I didn't put them as assign them to my case.
I emailed Jeff Chambliss telling him that I want your evidence that I've sent him, the attachments, to be provided with your new public defender, in your next upcoming court hearing. He saw that. And then he didn't show up, huh? You said that he didn't show up in his court date today?
No.
That means he's hiding.
No.
That whatever I told him pretty much scared him from his fraud. And I this is what I think happened, Dad. Well, Outreach, her trying to do that false accusation, it failed. It failed terribly. And this is why it failed.
Yeah.
We got the testament of that man.
They send that dirty biatch score, Ulrich, whatever, to do the bullshit, and it's automatically failed.
Yeah.
It backfired on her ass because the dumbass thinking that I'm incompetent like her.
That bitch is incompetent.
Because that's what they were trying to hold him, that he's incompetent.
And
By
that's
hitting a inmate.
yeah. And listen, that's what that false, and that's what that yeah, and that's what that false report was gonna be from July 2nd. I think that's what Mike is altering. He's fixing it back to a normal report so he doesn't get blamed on.
Yeah, because he knows we're on to him and them.
Yeah, because why wouldn't he not show up today?
It's stupid when you spoke to him and I left a message with his secretary.
I bring this up because it's very important. July 2nd, a evaluation diagnosis was submitted to the court. A declaration was filed at 12 a.m. So it must seem very urgent, right? It must be very important. He doesn't show up at 9 a.m. when the date was scheduled for the 24th. And mind you, when this declaration was filed, he never met my dad. He's new. He never seen my dad. He never spoke with him verbally. Doesn't even know what the man looks like until July 20th, 21, when he spoke with my father and labeled him not incompetent and sees that he's mentally sane, mentally healthy in the mind, and believes that the family is not mentally insane. He believes we are sane as well. So I'm going to email him today. But my point is, he saw my dad about 4 days before his next upcoming court date. That was on the 24th. And yet he's not there. He's not there with his declaration. What type of fraud shit is that? He's not there with his declaration. He has not talked to us. He has not reached out when we left voice messages. So I'm giving out a warning. I don't know what they're going to do on the 31st, but I'm letting you guys know. You keep doing your fraud, I'm going to keep exposing you. So you better let my dad go on July 31st because I stated so much information on why you shouldn't be holding him. Why the fuck are you even holding him? And I have one more article. This time it's a councilman. I think his name was Thomas as well. This was recent, about 3 years ago. And he had a son that was molested or something. And that the jail only gave that man 4 months in jail. Mind you, this man touched a kid. He did oral correlation with this age of minor under the age of 18. Right? He did that. He assaulted, he harassed, and manipulated a person under the age of 18 and got 4 months of jail. The Judge Walsh, dude, that allowed the woman to walk free from murdering a man, stabbing him 108 times. She gets away with community service, doesn't even spend 1 day in jail. Not 1 day in jail. Gets 100 hours of community service. They blame the actual person that got stabbed 108 times. They blame the victim for his own death. Tell me that county is not incompetent. What type of fucking logic are they on? What type of drugs are they on? I'm stating all these facts, all these articles that I could back up. I'm stating what I'm proving. I'm stating what the fucking crimes they're doing. I have proof of that. But they're not stating what crimes we're fucking doing. The supposed crimes. We're still waiting for the body cam footage. We're still waiting for the warrants. Where is all of that? Where is all of that? Why are you guys holding my father? I am, sir. I'm going to go to law school because everybody is encouraging me to do it. Even a federal clerk officer, I'm going to call him an officer even though he's a federal clerk, he told me that he sees potential in me learning law, that I should be a lawyer. I haven't decided yet, but I do love researching about law. It's pretty fascinating, especially when you argue about logical facts, especially when you got to go against ignorance or stuff that is stupid. It's a drive. I could do this shit every day, respectfully. So that federal clerk officer, he said that that I should be a lawyer, and that everybody in that office loves me. Every time they see me coming in, they love me for what I do. And I appreciate their thanks and honesty for what they tell me. They encourage me to keep going. They even encourage me to go to school. That don't let shit block me from doing what I gotta do. Don't, they said. It's like the devil. The devil's always gonna be there in your ear to stop you and push you away from something. That feeling of commitment where you feel like you're gonna give up is the devil. These are metaphorical sayings of the psychological mind. It's like a battle between positivity and negativity with yourself. Most people don't believe that they're more powerful than they think. Like, they don't believe that. This knowledge that I've gained over these few months is totally a blessing, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have this type of divine spark in my mind to remember and what to say, exactly what I'm talking about, what I'm stating, what everybody understands what I'm talking about. But my point is, I'll keep exposing them, and the fact that they keep doing some illegal shit, like not filing that declaration when it was supposed to be an honest declaration on the 24th. No. That's why I'm warning them. You guys better not do anything on the 31st of July. Because everything's being documented. You guys are too far deep into your poop. Like, way far. You're exposed. Give up already. Next, I'm serving the DA a federal complaint. I'm literally gonna serve the DA, the district attorney in Ventura County, a freaking declaration. A real, honest, federal, classic, elegant declaration. I'll be putting it up for you guys, the whole thing, like how I do it before. I'm baffled, people. That's why the title on here is What the Fuck Ventura, because of the shit that I discovered today. And coincidentally, it's a Sunday. It's a blessed day. It's very beautiful. I hope everybody enjoyed the day, because, man, it's amazing to find this type of knowledge anywhere on the internet. We live in 2025. You're as ignorant, as dumb, if you're gonna do fraud, if you're gonna do corruption in the real lifetime, when everything is digital now and there's records and copies of things. See, back then in the 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s, where body cam wasn't needed, false reports were easy to just file into the fucking court. So simple and easy like that. You could just make up a fake fucking report of an incident and cover it all up. So there's for sure corruption dating back all the way in the 60s. And if I could find shit like that, it just shows that shit never died out. Just how the one from 30 years ago, from 1987, didn't die out. More corruption began. 2003, a deputy manipulating a woman. What, recently, 4 years ago, 2021, 2020, those two recent articles I read to you about how they're hiding the fucking public records. They're literally public record. They deserve to go to the public, but they're blocking these records of police misconduct. And they're making sure they're blocking majority of it pre-2019, where majority of it happened. So they can't face any type of charges but the present fucking misconduct that's going on right now in the present moment. They all bribe each other in their courtrooms. And it's crazy. When I was in jail, a white man, a Caucasian man, was telling me something about laundering money. That the foods that they spend in the jail, the beans, they're like big ass bags. And the government basically gives discount for the agencies. Like 50 cents they have to pay for that. So there's more money in the courthouse and in the jails. And where is the rest of that money coming from? Where is it going? It's like a shuffle. When you look at the 30-year-old corruption, it's about councilmen bribing each other, stealing money from a fucking post office to fucking launder it into land, to create land and shit. It's crazy, people. It's crazy how a kid brings a gun to school, and I'm finding all this fucking corruption of this disgusting fucking town. And he's being covered up by those same corrupted cops that are in his family. These same corrupted cops that have ties to government officials, judges, and DAs, and public defenders. It's all money involved. I hope I gave a great an analogy of what I'm saying, and a clear picture and vision of what I'm stating. What the fuck is going on with me and my family is a real thing and not a fucking movie. It's real. And I'm literally shocked, and it gives me the chills sometimes that I'm exposing this shit at the age of 18. This is what they did to me. They forced me to grow up. They forced me. I didn't have, man, I couldn't even experience high school. I think I might have to even get my GED. I won't be able to experience that. And I will keep my cards close to my chest, sir. I will. I thank everybody for listening to me, and I encourage you to please share. I plead to you. I plead to the public of society, of humanity, that when they see this, it's shared down to family members after family members, so knowledge is gained, so that wisdom is gained. So when you face experience similar in a way, you see patterns, you're quick to grab it. You're quick to put the stop to it and put your feet down and say, no, I see you. There's a saying that when you know how to identify evil and name it, when you name that evil, it's easy to defeat it. And this is fraud. This is deception. That's that evil that I'm spreading to you people. Now, I'm not spreading that evil to you, but I'm spreading that information of evil to you. That's what I'm stating. I'm finding it, I'm experiencing it, and I'm sharing it, this knowledge, to everybody, because everybody deserves to know the truth. So these public officials that do fraud and corruption, they must know and must expect us to know the truth and not act all surprised when they're exposed. Thank you everybody very much. I'm very glad you guys hear me out and watched. Please share. Please look at the YouTube channel. Please comment. Please comment your thoughts on what do you think of all of this bullcrap. Don't waste your time on it. Just share. Please look at the facts and details. Ask questions about the details. Ask questions about the facts, and I will gladly get to you. Thank you so much. Everybody have a blessed Sunday. Thank you so much. Love you guys.